think that you know how to color until you get here. And when they start laying it out, you're like, oh my, I knew nothing from that until I started going through that class. And like I said, seeing the unexposed pigments and mixing the finger paints and adding those three colors in there and then coming out with the tertiaries and the secondaries and all the way out like that. I don't think until you really get your heart into it and actually watch the colors spill out like that, you don't have any idea I don't believe, until you go to a class like that. Like, oh, okay, let's pick this color, see what happens here. That's what I did the first 10 years of my career, would just guess, and hope that would come out right. And then going through this class, it's all right there, step by step by step of, you can take me anywhere. You can put me in China with black hair, you can put me in Australia with brown, you can put me in Sweden with blonde. And after learning that course and watching the steps of that, I can go anywhere in color. It doesn't matter anymore.
Sit and read from a textbook all day or watch lecture all day and take notes, but that's not really going to do much for me because I have to do it and see it and actually experience it to learn.
I think probably when I came here, just the willingness of Robert wanting to talk about color. I mean, where I worked before for 6 years, it's like no one wanted to talk about it. They just wanted to tell you what to use on something, you just faked it. And till I really came here and learned what, stuff you don't learn in beauty school. You just don't learn it, and, it just opened up can after can after can,
Your recipes became more perfect.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else learning color. This has definitely made me feel very comfortable, very confident. I love having the knowledge because I think, like you said,
And to be a salon that's known for color correction.
Yeah.
I mean, there is not a person in here that walks in that front door. If somebody walks in, there is not a person here that's afraid to tell that. We all are so comfortable with the knowledge learning from this course.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
When you get out of school, I came in here to talk to Robert, wanted my job, and I know how to do hair. I'm ready to go, and you have to stop. I had to work under him, and at that point, I think you were working 3 days a week. So I was doing his perms and doing his colors, and I took a color class, and I took a perm class, and I took some cutting classes, and I did all of that before I was ever set free to just take a client. But when I took that client, I'd already had all the hands-on experience with other clients in the salon. I felt comfortable in myself and doing stuff that I knew how to do it properly. A couple of years after beauty school, I ran into one of my girlfriends and we went to lunch, and she was talking to me about corrective color, and she asked me how I knew so much about it, how I knew what I was doing, and I stopped for a minute stunned. I was like, well, what do you mean? How do you know what you're doing? She's like, just like you said, she faked it.
Yeah, she's guessing.
And it didn't always turn out good, and her clients were upset, and she had a job. She never had a constant, steady flow of regular clients coming into her because they were her trial and error to fake it through the years. And she doesn't do hair anymore. She comes here. I do her hair because she didn't have, it's not that she couldn't have been talented. It's not that she couldn't have been a good hairstylist. She just never went to a salon that continued to educate her.
When you break it down, it's red, yellow, and blue. I had never thought about it that way, and I just always found that pretty fascinating. The whole 3 yellow, 2 reds, and 1 blue is brown, and this is how you break it off and create all these different tones. It's like, you just think red is red in a tube, and warm is this and cool is that, and you don't ever actually, I never thought about what it actually was that I was doing. And so that was just like, wow, this is crazy that it's red, yellow, and blue. You can control exactly what tone you want to see on their hair. You can put something in a bowl and know exactly what it's going to look like when you rinse it out.
I think it's cool that we can go to intercoff here and I could sit in classes and actually know what they're going to say before they say it.
Yeah.
Or I would ask them questions and they have to tell me to think about something.
Yes.
And I've got to meet people who make millions of dollars and I know just as much as they do about color. I think that's cool.
I saw a whole new level. I just I thought, oh my gosh, I have my hairdressing passion back. And I was so excited because I found something that I could really connect with, that I could really be precise with and have some freedom artistic. So that's what just excited me with the whole program. My goal for you guys were that you guys would be using Artigo 50% in 8 weeks. That's the goal him and I set up. Of course, Robert's always a little more forthcoming, so he said, give him 4 to 6 weeks. When you guys didn't listen 2 weeks and weren't even touching a bottle of Goldwell, that is something that they use constantly when I'm national training. How long did it take for your big salon to move? And I said, no time, it would have been faster if we had given the class right off the bat.
Without color, we wouldn't have the success we had, but it takes a lot of knowledge too to have success with colors.
When you learn how to customize it like this, I think you can give them exactly something that no other stylist can duplicate. And that's what makes them stay with you. That's what makes them come back for that exact color that matches their skin. No, not other salons learn how to do that.
I think, for me personally, when you see some of the newer talent come back there now with their budget color, you know, just being able to talk these girls through, okay, this is why we're going to use this. This is why you need to explain to the client. You know, like I feel like for us, because I mean, I think we talk about stuff back there, but I think to be able to have that ability to offer that to the new talent when they come there so much as a support and have their light come on and be like, oh, you know, like I like to be able to do that. I like to write down the formula and show them the purposes and what developer and what color and why we're using what we're using to create that overall look for that client.
And let them see it happen.
Right.
And for me, it's a support, because there are some days I would love to say I come in with all my brain cells working forward, but some days, you know, you get a little bit of someone telling you something, you're like, okay, can I do it this way or this way? And when I get to bounce it off you guys, then I get the support of going, okay, had you thought of this? I'm like, that is it. It's watching my grandmother, Polish grandmother, making recipes. She never wrote down recipes. She would just try, and she knew all her spices. So to me, we know all the recipes in here.
I'm not the most fantastic student to have in your class. As Brenda was saying earlier about the paints, I mean, I hated the bigger paint, and let me see a warm brown, let me see, and that I guess kind of goes back, you know, to the different levels. Like I've always been very heavy-handed, so the darker colors are going to be like, oh, lighter. But I mean, I agree with everything that everybody said at the table so far. It's like being able to talk that common language, being able to know, you know, what's in the hair, what's in the can. I've been able to transition, you know, to any color line that I've used, any place that I've been, and it's just like, I get it, I understand it. I've heard the word confidence so many times, and with the knowledge that I've gotten here, I have been able to be confident in every role that I've stepped into since I've left. And when that color is messed up and is turned hot pink, and I went and said, what did you do? And you know, 5 other students had told them to do this, and first of all, it's like, why didn't you come to an educator? Why didn't you come to me? But then I know that whatever I'm going to formulate, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll be able to walk out of that building and hold her head high.
I think it gives you confidence to build your business.
After this course, your mind is like constantly stimulated to want to break down and pick another color that you haven't seen to create. So for me, I'm always like, well, what if I did this and I did this and I did this, and I'm bouncing it off of her. But it's like after this class, then that language of us is just like constant, fun conversations, and we're always stimulating our brain just by a visual of sitting next to somebody, which I think is very, very intelligent.
When I started out at 20, manufacturers were doing everything they can to educate us to get us to use a product. Well, that day that's unfolding, and now you're going to see that knowledge that we had is being lost if we don't capture that knowledge and pass it to the next generation. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to train, because training is expensive. Training is time consuming to do it. but it's not as readily available as it was for me. And I'm seeing that door close. And so it concerns me for an industry that could lose a lot of that knowledge if somebody doesn't carry this knowledge on.
Robert is going to offer you all the knowledge from literally around the world to train and support you. Beauty Schools offers a license. Robert's training offers you a very successful career.